I just want to check in on
Yeah.
how's your time going because...
It's quarter
15
past
minutes.
15
Oh,
more
I don't
minutes.
want
okay, sure.
Because that whole detoxing thing is so important, and I feel like I'm going to spend the
Yeah.
rest of my life detoxing these
Detoxing
metals
is
out
so
of my body.
important.
And I'm so afraid I'll come down with Alzheimer's because my father did. And,
It's very preventable.
my mother's disease, she came down serious neurological disease when I was in 10th grade, and it took years for her to die. She died when I was 39. And that was also due to heavy metals. That had, because she had a mouthful of metal and she was a really heavy smoker. She smoked territons. And anything about territons, all the cigarettes that were ever produced, they probably had more laden with chemicals than any other cigarette.
Well,
So-
smoking helps. The smoking helped break down the metal to get it into her body.
That's probably right.
Oh.
And
But the
think about
tobacco was laced with that stuff too.
it. Yeah.
But
Oh,
just
yeah, they were
the
adding
smoke in the
chemicals
mouth and
into
stuff like
it
that.
to make it more addictive.
That smoke in the mouth leaches the metal from the
Right, but
stuff in the
territin
body.
had especially high toxins
Yeah,
already
that's what
added
it
into
is.
it to make it more addictive. And I've actually seen ads from the early 1950s, like in Life magazine, Time magazine, full-page ad, and it says 3 out of 5 doctors recommend territins if you have a cold or flu. It's
Is that-
bizarre.
Bizarre. Well, what happened was, of course, between so much metal in her mouth and the smoking, that all of it attacked in here in the brain, back here in the brainstem. And so she got a disease, which was a motor disease, what appeared to be a motor disease, killing the Purkinje cells deep inside the, I can't remember the name of the exact name of the structure inside the brain. So that slowly but surely it took her motor skills. And you might have thought she had MS, but she didn't. She had this very unusual ataxia disorder. And there's a few families in the United States where it runs in families because there's a genetic form of it. Fortunately, that doesn't seem to be me because here I am. But even so, you can see that getting rid of the metals here, and for God's sakes, please don't ever smoke because it can just go straight to that motor core of the brain. So I'm very interested in the detoxing stuff, and I can't imagine that the environment we live in that we're going to have to just be detoxing until the day we finally
detox
pass
really
this
needs to be a part of our lifestyle. I wanted to emphasize with detox, if you're doing any type of, I shouldn't say any type of detox, but a lot of types of detox, particularly liver detox, it's very important that your bowels and intestines are working well, because a lot of stuff, that's where it gets dumped, particularly for liver detox. You don't want stuff just sitting in your intestines.
Simple term, you don't want clogged pipes.
Yes, very well said.
Real easy to figure out.
The doctor who, if I had to pick one doctor I have most respect for in the world, it would be one who recently wrote, if you're not having 3 bowel movements a day, you're by definition constipated. I think it might modify that a bowel movement for every big meal you have. And if you're constipated, you're bowel toxic, and if you're bowel toxic, you're systemically toxic. The ancient Chinese believed that all disease originates in the colon, which is obviously not true, but a lot of it does. I just heard about there being brain tissue even in the colon, and most of our immune system is in the colon. Colon health is very important. Eating a lot of fiber, doing herbal colon cleanses, like psyllium, getting colonics once in a while. Extremely. Were you starting to ask something a minute ago about dentistry?
No.
Okay. Did anyone have questions about the dentistry or holistic dentists? And also equally important than seeing a holistic dentist, any degree to which you can improve your dental care is one of the best things for improving general health, for preventing cancer, preventing countless other diseases. Flossing daily is one of the most important things. Brushing ideally after every meal, especially before going to sleep.
What do you recommend brushing with?
Soft,
A brush.
Actually, a soft toothbrush, believe it or not. Some people even use baby toothbrushes, but just any soft
Okay, but
Bristles
what do you
toothbrush.
put on it, or do you just?
That I don't know.
Because
that
when you
much
read,
about.
I mean, it's scary when you read like commercial toothpaste.
Just have
Yeah,
baking soda.
definitely-
Baking
health food
soda, yeah, that's what I'm.
But there's
Peroxide is an old one. But you
Yeah.
could also do something like Tom's of Maine or something like that. It's supposed to be
Yeah, good
pretty
health
Yeah,
food
that
store.
for me is good.
If I had a big problem with cavities, there are other ways of preventing cavities, but if I still had a problem with cavities, I would use a fluoride toothpaste. If I did not have a problem with cavities, I would not use a fluoride toothpaste.
Somebody
The
says the
mouthwash
magnesium, well, if you brush your teeth, do regular brushing, and then you put a little magnesium oil, put the toothbrush in it, and brush that. Does magnesium and calcium have some relationship to each other as far as binding?
No.
Yes, in fact, if you
Magnesium
take a lot
and
of
calcium.
magnesium or calcium, it's important to take the other one because they work in a critical
And
balance with each
And
other.
they said that was a good
Oh,
way
and
to
this-
finish off, and your teeth feel very clean afterwards. I have tried it, and it does. The teeth feel remarkably clean
Great.
using the magnesium oil at the end of the brushing. Use your regular toothpaste.
And also use the mouthwash once a day. If you eat anything sweet or sticky, brush your teeth afterwards, or at least have a glass of water. Okay.
Well, there is something very natural what can prevent cavities. Eating a bunch of parsley, green parsley daily, just like
like a cow.
a cow.
Okay.
Parsley is
Exactly.
also excellent in
Parsley,
Parsley, yeah.
one but daily, no cavities.
Wow, that's great to know.
I'm going to bring up this real esoteric thing, which you may or may not know about, Leonard.
Okay.
Oil pulling.
Yes.
See, that's another. See, teeth, it's the hardest substance in the human body. It's enamel, but it's still, if you look at it at an electron microscope level, it's very porous. And this oil pulling actually it goes into the crevices and the holes in the enamel and will pull out junky stuff. So maybe you should talk about it now, because you're the expert. I know about it, but do you want to talk about it?
I don't know much about it, but I know a little bit about it, and I'm very impressed with it. People are great.
And you can look it up online, so there's a lot of, so say a little bit,
With
oil
oil?
I
pulling.
read about it particularly as a way of healing, like gum infections and things like that. Pulling it, I guess the oil does pull. I think what you literally do is swish the oil in your mouth, spit it out.
for about 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
40 seconds. And
No,
so-
the oil pulling I'm familiar with is coconut oil, the cleanest coconut oil you can get. You put it in your mouth and you swish it around for 10 full minutes.
Oh,
Do
that's
not
right,
swallow.
40 seconds. It was minutes, and it's. Well, I tried it and I couldn't do it. I was okay for about the first minute.
It's a
first second
challenge.
minute. The third minute, I was just like, I couldn't.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. But
Why
people
does it
get
taste bad or what?
no. It's
The texture of
it's
the
just
oil in
it.
your
You're
mouth
what
for
you
10
just
minutes.
simply how you normally just right now you're going to be swallowing your saliva every now and then.
Yeah.
This is the deal: is you swallow nothing for 10 or 15 minutes.
Too hard.
But you get really, people have gingivitis and other gum diseases. It clears it up fairly quickly. People have spoken very highly of it. It's a challenge, but boy, for not having to go to dentist, you can cure a lot of oral problems.
It pulls
That's
a lot of the bacteria.
Yeah.
Stuff, right. It pulls it right out and into the oil. Because
Right.
it gets suspended in the oil as you swish it around.
and then when you're finally done, you spit the thing out.
Yeah, got it.
You do not swallow it
Yeah.
because it's full of junk.
How it would be poisonous.
5 minutes.
So coconut oil is the best?
That's one. Some people use either coconut or olive oil. I happen to like coconut oil, so that's what I used.
Sesame oil too. Some people.
They were, I tried it with sesame oil. And again,
So I couldn't do
I
it.
couldn't do it.
Coconut oil has to
Maybe
have.
coconut would be better.
Coconut oil is also antibacterial and antifungal and antiviral.
Antiviral. Yeah.
Coconut oil is good.
Well, one area you haven't talked about yet was natural anti-inflammatories.
Oh yes, especially being that
And that's
some
a big
people
one.
will say a cliche that inflammation is the cause of all disease.
Yes.
But what causes
Thanks.
inflammation?
Yeah, which is a huge exaggeration, but inflammation is a huge thing. A number of things. One of the big things is omega-6 oils, the vegetable oils, sunflower, safflower, soy, corn, cottonseed, most of the oils that Americans use. We're supposed to have a ratio of about 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3. The omega-3 are anti-inflammatory. We eat an average of about 20 to 1 or 30 to 1. So cutting out those is huge help. Increasing the omega-3, like fish oil is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. Curcumin, turmeric, the main curry spice. Great anti-inflammatory, great anti-cancer, great a number of other things. Curcumin, an extract of it, has been used to heal endless numbers of stuff.
Which one?
Curcumin,
Oh, cooking.
yeah, extract of turmeric. But just put a lot of turmeric on your food.
One of my favorites is cinnamon because it's so easy to add to your diet. It's also very powerful. I'll make chocolate milk, get the Hershey syrup, add about 2-3 tablespoons of cinnamon to it. And you want to mix it in the syrup first because if you don't, it just clogs in the milk. And then make chocolate milk, and so it's a very easy way to get it into your diet, as well as adding it to a lot of other foods.
Yeah, we're reading more and more healthy things about cinnamon.
Oh, cinnamon has a
amounts
lot
helps
of
control
wonderful
blood sugar. It's
properties.
great for diabetes.
Mhm. Do not add it to your diet if you're on a blood thinner. Talk to your doctor first,
Okay.
because it is as strong as blood thinners.
What do you think of earthing?
Oh, extremely important.
Mhm.
In fact, I think in my miscellaneous section I mentioned earthing.com, which is a good website for it. Very important to have a connection with the earth every day. The main ways are walking barefoot on the ground for a while, or hugging a tree. If you can't do that, they sell earthing pads and other equipment for modest amounts of money that can artificially create the earthing process. But if you can walk barefoot on the earth or hug a tree, go for it.
I heard its main mechanism for working is that it is supplying electrons from the earth. If you walk barefoot, and that the earthing. I have the earthing products. I would tell you, the first night I got the sheet. I got the sheet for the bed, and it looks just like a piece of regular sheet material, but it has running through it little silver threads.
Okay.
And so then you attach it to this little gizmo that runs just a simple little tiny wire over to a grounded outlet. So you test the outlet, the ground, a device that sends you to make sure that it is grounded. And so all night long it's just sitting, whatever, it's sending little tiny trail of electrons to the sheet, which is then dispersed via the silver wires, little silver threads. So the first night I put it on the bed, it was a half sheet, so you put it on the bottom half of the bed because even if you sleep in a nightie, it's likely from your knees down, you're going to be in contact with the sheet. You don't have to stand on it or whatever. Oh my gosh, it was the most delightful sleep. It was wonderful. So I recommend it highly for no other reason. It really felt good to sleep off with
Does
it.
it go on?
It's like our bodies can absorb things the best when we're asleep, and improving your sleep is so valuable for.
And the guy that developed it said that its major function, the electrons, is to reduce inflammation in the body.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
it speeds up healing.
Okay.
I think we need to finish.
Okay. I want to pass around a piece of paper and ask everyone to write down your name, email address, and any topics that you wanted me to email you information on.
Are we done?
I'm just waiting for his concluding remarks.
Thank you very much. Wonderful presentation.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Leonard, if you have some concluding remarks, and we'll tape that, and then we'll stop rolling tape.
I feel like I just want to reiterate a number of the things that you all mentioned: earthing, smart meters, dentistry. Oh, a very big thing to ask yourself, how does my body feel eating this food? Put it up to your heart muscle test. Just ask your guidance, touch it. Follow your body's intuition. What makes your body stronger? That's the most individualized and most, I think, ultimate guide for eating and living. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
Round of applause for Leonard, one of our own.